In a rare appearance at the White House press briefing, Vice President J.D. Vance took the media to task over their coverage of the Minnesota ICE agent shooting.
The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws.
Senior writer for the Washington Examiner and Fox News contributor Joe Concha joins us now. And J.D. Vance was particularly irked by a CNN headline that read, "Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis." Absolutely no context to the rest of the story there. Joe, your thoughts?
And it's intentional, Todd, that headline that you just read, and great to see you both, because, again, this is the CNN or MS Now or New York Times playbook, which is to divide the country by misleading them about a video that, if you watch it from the right angles, clearly shows that this ICE agent was in the right, both legally and in the moment, just as a human being, to do what he did. Disgraceful is the only word that the vice president is right to regarding this coverage of this tragedy overall. And regarding that ICE agent who defended himself after he was clipped by the SUV driven by Renee Good, every respected legal scholar that you see out there, an analyst, the Jonathan Turleys of the world, said that he had a legal right to defend himself. And every respected member of law enforcement has said the agent did exactly what he had to do in that situation. You've heard the numbers, by the way. Caroline Levitt shared it before the vice president took to the podium at the James S. Brady briefing room yesterday. And it's absolutely horrifying. Attacks on ICE agents are up more than 1,200% this year. And the ramming of ICE agents by vehicles, those kinds of attacks, are up more than 3,200%. So if you're that agent, you're at the hood of that car, you don't know who's inside, you don't know what their intentions are, you know that other ICE agents have been rammed or attempted to be rammed before, you did the only thing you can do in that situation. And no, shooting at the tires would not have prevented that car from moving forward with acceleration if the intent was to take out that officer altogether from close range. So again, the result was awful, but it was certainly legal. But you see on other networks, this agent being accused of murder and guests going on there accusing ICE of being racist, while comparisons to the secret police in Nazi Germany continue. It's absolutely sickening, and it is intentional, because this is what happens. They want their next George Floyd moment in Minneapolis.
Yeah, and just following up on that, excuse me, Joe, is that I was reading a New York Times article earlier this morning. It was written yesterday, and a notable line in it included this. A video analysis shows that the woman's vehicle appears to be turning away from the officer as he opened fire. But there was no follow-up line about what DHS would say about their own analysis of that very same video, about the trajectory of the bullet and where the positioning of the officer was at the time of all of this. So it appears that even though the vice president is making these comments at the podium, nothing's going to change.
No, nothing will change. And that's the thing, right? Okay, get a comment from one side of the story and then get a comment, I don't know, in this case, officially from the federal government, in this case, DHS. Again, this is what we're going to continue to see in 2026. This is now an election year, a midterm year. And obviously, by having this front and center, this awful thing that happened in Minnesota, as a result, now we're not going to hear a lot about, and we didn't really hear a lot about in the first place, Somalian, as far as that whole scandal that's going on there. It gives cover for Tim Walz. That's certainly for sure.
Yeah, the fraud has gone away magically. Want to get your thoughts on this before we let you go.
Fraud, thank you.
Seven playoff NFL quarterbacks not afraid to show their love of their faith. They've all been very public. The list includes C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Drake May, Bo Nix. Who else do we have? Bryce Young, Jalen Hurts. About 30 seconds to you. What do you make of the willingness of these individuals to be public with their faith in such a cauldron of intensity like the NFL playoffs?
Yeah, and these are playoffs, Todd, being watched by 30, 40, 50 million people. So it's a huge audience to advertise their faith. And we even saw it last night during that great Miami game. I may be seeming a little tired this morning because I stayed up and watched it. Mario Cristobal said after the game, during the postgame interview, his first quote, "Well, first, thanks to God, the big upstairs man, always number one." What a great message on national TV in front of the whole world. The bottom line is, after Charlie Kirk's unfortunate and horrible execution, Bible sales are way up and church attendance is up as well. Charlie always preached faith. It's good to see NFL quarterbacks doing the same, Todd.
Yeah, we called it the intersection of God and the gridiron before, and I love that quote. And Joe, thank you so much for joining us this morning to talk about it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.